Good news in these difficult times. The Dragon Prince novelization dropped on June the 2nd, and there's no better time than now to discuss it. There's a lot here that expands on what we already knew from the show, and it is worth inspecting. Even the intro provides new information. Apparently, there used to be unicorns in this world, and unicorns gave humans the ability to use primal magic. Although, the question of why so few humans are able to use this magic compared to elves, and why Callum is, as far as we know, the only human to perform magic without a medium, is still unknown. It's a nice piece of information, though. The book itself is quite good. It's not Shakespeare or anything, but I reckon it's just as good as the original show. It's a perfectly good way to enjoy the Dragon Prince, and it's a nice new angle on the whole Dragon Prince experience. I recommend getting it. It's great for when you need to refresh your memory on what happened in Season 1, but you don't have Netflix with you, and you want a heck of a lot more than a dry summary. It's legitimately engaging. I like it a lot. Lore-wise, there are nice tidbits such as how Athari, Rayla's surrogate father, was the one to craft her blades, and there's confirmation that Amaya was born deaf. Rayla does not eat meat, and she does not like using her assassin Moonshadow elf form. You know, when she goes all dark and starts to glow. More interesting by far, however, at least to me, is the information we get about Viren and his family. If you watch the video I made in which I detailed my hopes and predictions for this book, I discussed how I hoped we would be getting a lot more Viren, and it looks like those hopes were fulfilled. The novel delivered, so good for them. Anyway, Viren's wife's name is Lissa. Lissa. It's implied she left Viren after he used a dark magic. If you find that strange, considering that she knew he was a dark mage when she married him, you're not wrong, but it's more complicated than that. It's not just that she left because he used a dark magic. She left because he brought Soren, their son, back from the dead, it's implied. And this involved killing someone, and she was not okay with that. All they directly say was that Soren was very sick, but I think it's fair to read between the lines and say that, yes, he actually died, and Viren brought him back, and the consequences of that are what drove his wife, Lissa, away. It would be fascinating to get more information on that, but what we have is engaging, and it makes Viren arguably a more sympathetic character. Again, Viren's most sympathetic moments have always been in flashbacks, and this is no exception. We see Claudia bring her father, Viren, back from the dead at the end of Season 3, despite his wrongdoings. And after that, the question permeated the fan community about, well, can Viren bring people back from the dead too? And it turns out that yes he can. He brought his son back. And that is a major reason why Soren is so loyal to him. It's a lot easier to forgive someone when you know that they are truly capable of acts of great compassion, even when they don't typically showcase that compassion. And Viren saving Soren's life with dark magic after Soren passed beyond this realm is certainly qualifying in that regard. While it is not clear that Soren knows he was brought back from beyond the grave, he does know, most likely, that he was hurt very badly and that Viren was the one to save him. and you don't forget these things, even if they are at odds with like 90% of your experience with someone. Also, given this, it's reasonable to see why Lissa left. Knowing the person you love the most and care about the most is capable of killing someone is a horrifying revelation, and I don't blame her for being shocked, and I don't blame her for leaving. It's one of those situations that the Dragon Prince utilizes at its best, where there aren't really any good guys or bad guys, they're just people trying to navigate a complex world as best they can. Viren thought it was best to bring Soren back, even if that meant using dark magic. Viren is not nearly as cold and calculating in the book as he appears in the show, at least in the present timeline. He's a lot more compassionate. He truly believes he cares about his kids. Whether we as the audience believe that is a different story, but he is genuinely passionate. He's not cynical. He's doing what he thinks is right, and he's plunged into despair. He does not see any other options, and instead of standing idly by and allowing the waves of life to overtake him and push him away from his son, he takes decisive action. You can't really blame him for that. But also, if you're Lissa, how do you deal with that? Especially if you were a little iffy on the whole dark magic concept in the first place. There's a difference between using a little dark magic here and there and killing someone to bring Soren back from the dead. You can agree or disagree with her reasons for leaving, but I don't think her leaving is completely unreasonable. I would love to see more. This novelization left me thirsty for a lot more Dragon Prince and a lot more information on Viren and Lissa's life together. How did they meet? What was that relationship like? What were its highs and lows? What did she think of him at first, and how did that change when she realized he was willing to kill someone in order to forward his own plans, even if those plans include bringing their son back? I hope we get to see her in the show itself. Let us see them as a happy couple, and let us see their relationship slowly start to disintegrate. It would add a lot more color and context. While we don't necessarily need that character, it would be great to see her pop up at least in a flashback. It would give the whole saga of their family life, which I think is the most interesting part of the Dragon Prince, on a personal relationship level, a lot more substance. I would really like to see that. But, of course, I don't blame this novelization for not giving me that. It gave me more than enough. If something leaves you wanting more information about a relationship you had never heard about before, then it seems like the creators are definitely doing something right, and that is the case here. Buy this if you can. It's only $6 for a digital copy, or $7, not including shipping, for a paperback. Thank you all for watching. If you liked what you saw today, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Donate to my Patreon if you can, and you want to see more videos like this. Keep watching The Dragon Prince. It is a brilliant, clever, evocative show. It really deserves a 4th season, and here's hoping it gets that 4th season. Thank you all again. Adios, comrades.